Cheesman. All right, today, exhortation. It's an encouragement thing. So join me as we head to 2 Timothy. 2 Timothy is a letter from Paul to his mentee, Timothy. And really we're talking more about a father-son type of relationship, because that's exactly how Paul begins this letter, to his beloved son. Now, join me for a history lesson. Let's go to Rome. And in Rome, we are dealing with an emperor whose name is Nero. And a great fire starts in Rome, burning everything and leaving a bunch of people homeless because they live in these sort of shacks outside of Nero's palace. Now, Nero does a lot of great stuff for the people to help them as they struggle with the fire and losing their homes. But amidst all that, what he also does is build this great palace to himself. And he erects a giant statue that is in his honor. Because of that, as the people do, they start to talk about rumors that maybe Nero started this fire himself so he could have a palace. Nero immediately spins that and turns it towards the pagan Christians who obviously set fire to his palace. Now you might be wondering, pagan Christians, right? But back then, the Christians were known as pagans for a multitude of reasons. Let me give you 5. Number 1, in the Roman culture, they believed in gods that they could see, statues that they could put flowers around, gifts to. So because the Christians believed in this God that no one could see, right, they thought they were godless atheists. And so that was the number 1 reason. Number 2, it was outlawed for Christians to meet in public. So because of that, they had to meet in secret. And whenever you meet in secret, there's all these rumors that start to circulate. So it became really well known that they were meeting in secret to plot evil things. Plus, their meetings brought around some rumors. Let's go to number 3. They had 2 types of meetings that they loved to do, and we still do today. One was called a love fest, which is really like the Last Supper. Sitting around, enjoying fellowship, talking about the life of Jesus Christ. Sounds like a good time. But because it was called a love fest, right, a love feast, everyone had rumors that it was a secret orgy going on. These Christians having secret meetings doing orgies, right? Of course. And then also they would do communion. And in the Romans' eyes, it was really easy to see communion as a cannibalistic nature. So because they had worshipped a God that no one could see, they met in secret, they had love fests, these secret orgies, right? And communion, cannibalistic affairs, it was really easy to believe that these Christians were the pagans that were against the Roman culture. In addition to that, they also talked about a king and a kingdom that no one knew about. And because they couldn't speak openly about their faith, everyone assumed that Jesus, their king, and the kingdom was a rebellion to leave and go to another city. So an act of war. And then finally, they talked about the world ending in fire and brimstone, which was a great sort of leeway into the fact that the palace was set on fire. So as we jump back from history, let's go back to Timothy. While this is all going on, poor Timothy is trying to start up a church and working against all of these rumors and accusations and persecution. So in 2 Timothy, Paul writes to his son, giving him encouragement, exhortation, trying to lift him up, keep his eyes on God and the faith. And my own mom's favorite verse, shout out to Brenda Vetz here, is going to be 4:2 in there, which says, be ready in the season and out of the season, in good times and in bads, right? Reprove, stay to your faith, right? Rebuke, fight that devil, push back to that sin, right? And exhort, encourage others with patience and instruction. So what Paul is saying to his son while he's dealing with accusations, persecutions, literally people being like just totally dumped on, right, in this time is, hey, son, I need you to be with us in good times and bad. I need you to keep the faith. I need you to constantly fight against the negative forces, the negative things in this life. And I need you to encourage others by being patient with them and teaching them everything that I've taught you. And that is the reality, is in 2 Timothy, Paul says to his son, hey, you know my full doctrine. Timothy knew Paul like a father and a son. Everything that he did, Timothy knew. And at the beginning of this letter, Paul thought that he was going to make it back to Timothy, but by the end, it's very clear that he knows he's sitting in jail far away. That's another story, right? And he's not going to make it back to his beloved son. So he offers him the greatest gift and the last gift that he can offer his great mentee, the mentor relationship, the father-son. And honestly, it's the same thing I would say to my own dad if he were watching this right now, which is, thank you for the encouragement. Thank you. And that is the message of Paul and Timothy. Exhortation. It's an encouragement thing. And honestly, thank you, Dad. Thank you for the encouragement. Happy Sunday.